Yo, 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 real quick video. I was just I was just chilling. I was in my real estate class actually, and I just saw um this little clip of Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless arguing. Now there's gonna be a reaction of that clip. Now I saw this, and this I've been telling people this forever. Recently we saw it a lot with the Kyrie Irving situation. Um, but this little clip just proves everything that I wanted to say, everything I've been saying. Now, let me first say though, sports in general, sports are really like a created construct that we give our energy to and we buy into and we act like it really means something in the world, but it really doesn't mean nothing. It has no, you know, viability to our life at all. It's just basically entertainment. Um, but a few other things what it is used for sports is used for really a distraction. All males on the planet, we came to the planet to do something, to fix something, to create something, to make something better. That's what humans came to the earth to do. But yet we watch sports 24/7 and we kind of get distracted from doing everything because we spend all of our time inside of this little mental construct that sports is. You got to follow me along now. This some deep shit. So like if sports didn't exist, males all around the world, from watching soccer all around the world, World Cup, football, basketball, baseball, all of this shit, to watching sports, if it didn't exist at all, we would build more shit. We would be involved in more shit. Like, we would be involved in the political system more because we would want to know what's going on in the world. We would build more shit because we're natural builders. We're smart. We're really smart. But, in sports, in the sports construct, we know a lot of numbers, dates, we remember all this history of shit that really doesn't matter at all. Like Tom Brady having certain amount of championships is not going to help me pay my bills at all, right? So it really doesn't matter at all. But we're so immersed into this shit that we don't get a chance to really live our real life, right? That's one thing that sports is used for. It's used to distract us from the real world because we're so stuck into sports. Every day we come home 365 days a year and we delve into sports, which we don't spend that much time with our family. We don't spend that much time building in our community. We don't spend that much time helping in our community. If sports didn't exist, we would do all of those stuff because that's what we naturally want to do. So sports takes that tribalism and that benefit of tribal, where we want to build our community. Now we want to build our sports teams. We want to get the best draft pick. We want to hope this guy is going to go to. This is all something mental you're born with to do for your community. But since you're given the construct of sports, your tribalism goes to that instead of go to your household and your community. That's one thing sports is for. But another thing sports is for like while you're watching it, they have to implement certain social agendas, certain social constructs. And forever, that those certain social constructs, since back in the day with the Roman Colosseums, they used to do like reenact certain battles, like the Battle of Carthage in this Roman Colosseum. And then all the people that the Romans wanted to win will win. They would kill all the people that the Romans don't want to win. So that creates a certain social construct. They do it in wrestling. It's all fake, really. They do it in wrestling. You see it a lot in wrestling with like When America was going to war, the first Gulf War, Hulk Hogan used to win them all, and he'd be like, he wore American flag, and it would be like, "I am a real American." So you feel like some kind of American superiority because you're watching this construct of Hulk Hogan. They do it. Um, we've seen it in the Olympics, with Hitler. Hitler built certain athletes, they built certain athletes to try to compete with world athletes and see if they're building, their steroids or whatever they were doing would make the superior athlete. Superior athlete will show that they have superior genetics. This was Hitler was all about. They were looking for the master race, the Aryans, and saying that their master race has superior genetics over everyone else. Went to the Olympics. I think it was. Oh man, I can't remember the runner that beat them, but the runner that it was like two black guys that beat the Nazis and the Germans and caused Hitler to get up and walk off. He didn't stay for the award ceremony, and I think the guys held up this black fist. Now, you get to see that a lot in the Summer Olympics, but you don't get to see it a lot in the Winter Olympics because Winter Olympics are more, tailored around the European games, whereas like snow in the snow, and in Africa we don't have really that much snow. South America is not that much snow, so Winter Olympics is pretty much for the European people to get their rocks off, pretty much. Summer Olympics is where you can see the athleticism of all the world, and constantly there's a black person that wins in racing, speed racing, you know, genetically, it's always shown that the black person is more superior genetically to any other race because when we're put to that test of displaying our athletic abilities, the black person usually dominates. Now, mind you, I told you in American sports, um, it's mainly used as a distraction, right? But they do also their social agendas, but also the social agendas, one of the biggest social agendas in American sports is white supremacy. And it has always been. It has never not been. Back when my mom was little, I remember she used to tell us back in the day, they didn't want black people to play quarterback because they would say black people wasn't smart enough to play quarterback, or we wasn't um, basically smart enough to understand the intricacies of the game and blah blah blah. But that's not it. That's what they were telling us. But they were holding us back from playing sports. I mean, playing quarterback because they didn't want. Quarterback is the star of the team. Quarterback is even in. I remember in my when I played football. We had a white quarterback on our team. My homeboy, I like Blumenberg. Blumenberg was cool, but you know, not to say there was some black dude, but we had another black quarterback, Myron Ankrum, and whenever like Blumenberg would get into trouble or whatever, they would bring Myron in, and just not to say anything about Blumenberg, but why not just play Myron all the time? Myron played like every position, wide receiver, quarterback, everything. He was just the superior athlete, dude from James Allen. Now, um, growing up, you can see it in sports, but we don't know what it is because we don't really understand the ways of how they're communicating with us. We like sports media. Sports media controls all of this because sports media controls the narrative that they like to socially engineer you with. And I remember I used to see this a lot in Sports Center back in the day. And I remember I used to speak out against it, but I was like the first one to do it. Nobody could ever understand this. Like you would see, they would always have like top plays, top 10 plays. And you know, from zero, like from 10 all the way up to like 3 or 4. From 10, they were all black people doing amazing plays, dunking from the free throw line, 360 windmill dunks, blah, blah, blah. But then you get around 1, 2, and 3, and it was always like this hockey dude doing this. Oh, he did a between the leg pass. Oh my God, did you see that pass? They would make it like that. And I would always look at it like, yo, that wasn't better than, Sean Kemp, or that wasn't better than Jordan's move, or any, Allen Iverson move looked better than that, or Megatron was doper than this hockey player doing this and this and this. But this when I first started realizing, like, these people are still giving us the construct of racial superiority. The top 10 plays, number one was always like some hockey dude or some baseball dude doing it was a cool play, like, oh, he grabbed the baseball on third base and threw it all the way across and got the runner on first. Okay, that's kind of cool, but that's like maybe number 7. Sean Kemp gliding from the free throw line between the legs or something is probably the best play of that night, but they never put it like that. They will always put these white guys in the top 3, and the white guys' plays would be so mediocre. And I started seeing that as a kid, like, yo, there's something about this shit, bro. There's something going on that, I never knew that racism really still existed like that. I knew it did, but I didn't know it was like that. Or I didn't know the levels that it was, or even why, right? I didn't really know about Hitler's genetic supremacy or anything like that. Or like in the Rocky movie, the Russian, they were building the Russian with computers and steroids and all of this shit, the blonde hair, blue-eyed white guy, so he can be but they were building him, right? I didn't understand none of that shit. I just watched the movies, right? But Rocky beat him. Rocky's another white guy. All right. But I didn't understand any of that shit. Growing up, I see now. And let me go to this shit real quick. And I'm gonna just play this shit. The Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless shit. And then we're gonna continue. But just you gotta watch this real quick.
Level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
Yeah, that's what you
That's
do.
the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No,
yeah, I did what
I never
did.
said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better
way
than you.
Better.
Yeah, see what you do? You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal
Put your glasses back on.
Can I finish? You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you disrespect him. It's just so. You know what? It's beneath your dignity.
You would disrespect me to support him.
No, well, I'll support him over anybody because he's the greatest player who ever played your game, and it's by far.
Have at it.
Okay, I'm going to have at it because I'm going to have at you. Level at 45 when you had to stop it.
Yeah, look at that. Now it's all coming out now, bro. It's all coming out. Like, if we don't understand what this shit is, the only reason, like Tom Brady, right? Everybody can say, oh, Tom Brady, it's kind of weird that right when 9/11 happened, Tom Brady, the Patriots, won the Super Bowl, right? Now, mind you, this is how they do social construct, how they cheat for social constructs. But Tom Brady encompassed all of it: social constructs, white superiority, and racism, all in once. All in one, Tom Brady does. So 9/11 happens. Everyone was supposed to be a patriot so we could be patriotic to go to war. Now, 9/11, we remember 9/11 in 2001, and we've been at war ever since, right? So now to get us to go to war, they have to, just like I said, what they did with Hulk Hogan in the Iraq War. Just like I said, so now 2001, Tom Brady wins his first championship, or 2002, whatever, right? So now he's on the Patriots. The Patriots. Now we're all patriotic. We're supposed to be patriotic, but what that is giving us our social mindset to be a patriot, to be patriotic and go to war, right? But how did he win it? He wasn't even supposed to be in the Super Bowl because he got knocked out with the tuck rule and the Raiders beat them. But all of a sudden, the NFL suddenly in that game made a new rule called the tuck rule. So Tom Brady's play wasn't a fumble, but it's now he tucked it away and it was an incomplete pass. That rule happened that day, right? So now Tom Brady has 7 championships. If we look further, if we look in today's date, Tom Brady has like 7 championships. But if he didn't have the tuck rule that they just made up, he would have 6, right? If the Patriots didn't cheat the Philadelphia Eagles and film their plays, he would have 5. If he didn't cheat and deflate the balls against Andrew Luck, he would have 4. If every year Tom Brady plays, the NFL cheats for him to win and complete. Now, if he had 4, he wouldn't be considered the greatest. Joe Montana would still be considered the greatest. Joe Montana is white also, but Joe Montana is not in our mental construct like that no more because he's before, most of it. But what you got to understand is this. When I just played you this with Skip and Shannon. Shannon Sharpe, Skip was just saying Tom Brady is better than Shannon Sharpe. But in what is he better? Shannon Sharpe is a wide receiver, tight end. Tom Brady is a quarterback. Tom Brady is a white quarterback who the NFL has cheated for every year of his existence so he can be successful. The NFL has cheated for him to be successful. Tom Brady cannot run faster than Shannon Sharpe, is not stronger than Shannon Sharpe, Shannon Sharpe could probably throw farther than Tom Brady. Shannon Sharpe could probably be a better quarterback than Tom Brady if Shannon Sharpe is allowed to play quarterback. But he's not. So now pay attention to this. Every time a black quarterback enters the league and they show promise, maybe even before they enter the league, if they show promise that they're going to be better than Tom Brady, they get dismantled. It happens every time. Pay attention. The last three black quarterbacks, or the last 3 quarterbacks, black quarterbacks that were shown, because what happens, you can see like their stats or their projections, if they continue playing, blah, 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 they're going to pass everyone, was Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, and Cam Newton. Cam Newton, somehow his career got derailed because he kept getting hurt. Oh, Michael Vick also, but I would say he's a little further back. But all of those quarterbacks, something happened in their career that prevented them from going. Deshaun Watson recently was projected to have the highest numbers of any quarterback ever. You saw what happened to Deshaun Watson. all these rape cases suddenly got thrown at him. It's already been proven that 30 more cases, the Texans were involved in acquiring these girls for homeboy. The Texans, Houston Texans, had to settle with 30 other girls because they were the one getting these girls for him, right? The FBI, the feds said there was nothing here, we can't prosecute him. Yet, in the public opinion, he's been prosecuted. He's lost 2 years and 9 games. But he hasn't done anything wrong. The feds say we cannot find any evidence of any wrongdoing criminally for this guy. Yet he lost 2 years and 9 games. Why? Because he's a black quarterback that's projected to beat Tom Brady. No, only one black quarterback has ever won the championship in the NFL. Yet we have shown that we can run faster. We're more athletic. We're pretty much better sports players than any other race, not just white people. But they made the NFL. They made this construct, so they can't allow anyone to look more superior than them. The same shit that Hitler was doing is going on today. That's why Kyrie Irving got, but when we say it, we get what happened to Kyrie Irving. That's why Shannon Sharpe was getting so mad that he couldn't say, Skip Bayless was like, you retired at 35. This dude retired at 45. Yeah, but nobody's saying anything. Could Tom Brady be on steroids? All the personal trainers I know, all the professional personal trainers I know, white boys would agree Tom Brady is on steroids. It just doesn't make any sense how he's still playing at 45 years old. Yet they can never speak about Tom Brady being on steroids, Tom Brady ever cheating. All of those years, and people love to talk about my homeboy, one of my homeboys, Austin, is a big Tom Brady fan. Sorry, Austin. I respect you a lot, but Tom Brady I don't respect him at all. Tom Brady was built. The reason they cheated for him so much was not to get the Patriots championships. They don't care about the Patriots like that. They did it that one year when they wanted us to be patriotic. The reason he was cheated for so much is to continue white superiority. So one day, a person like Skip Bayless is able to say, Tom Brady, a white boy, is better than you, Shannon Sharpe, at football. When we all know it's not true. We all know it's not true. Tom Brady could not do 1/10 of what Shannon Sharpe could do. Yet, they're allowed to say that because they built a champion. Just like they built Hulk Hogan. They built the champion. The reason they don't put Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame, even though other people are in the Hall of Fame right now that's been caught on steroids, even though and I remember Shannon Sharpe said this the other day to Skip. He was like, Barry Bonds never failed a drug test. And Skip was like, yeah, but a book was written about him. And Shannon was like, a book? Bitch, y'all can write a book and say anything. So the reason they say Barry Bonds is on steroids because someone wrote a book about him. That doesn't mean it's true. Just you can write anything in a book and get it published. That doesn't mean it was true. But the reason Barry Bonds is not because baseball is a white sport. They can't have the best player ever in baseball history to be a black guy. That's why they don't want to say anything about Barry Bonds. 73 home runs or whatever. That's why they didn't pitch to Barry Bonds. If they would have pitched to Barry Bonds that year, he could have had 100 home runs. If they would have signed Barry Bonds again the year after, he could have had 1,000 home runs altogether. They blackballed him out the industry and they shit on his name so they can put an asterisk on his name. So the best baseball player will never go down in history as a black guy. It's gonna still be Babe Ruth, even though they're gonna say, "Oh, Hank Aaron," they sent death threats to Hank Aaron too. They tried to burn down his house. They told him they're gonna kill him if he plays baseball. This is some shit white people do. Y'all have to address this. And the only one white guy I've ever heard say this, and that was Chris Sims. Phil Sims' son says Tom Brady is not the best quarterback ever. He is the best at doing what he's supposed to do because they give him the most opportunity to succeed. But if you put a certain quarterback other than Tom Brady with all those weapons around him, he would be better than Tom Brady. Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston was amazing freshman year. Probably had the best college year in history of college sports. Undefeated and won the championship as a freshman. Put the feds on him immediately. Said he raped a girl because he touched her leg or some shit like that. He never got, indicted, never went to jail, but the feds were watching him his whole freshman career, sophomore, all of that. They came to every game and questioned him. They were trying to make him crack so he wouldn't be good in the record book. Afterwards, they was like, oh, he stole crab legs, let's arrest him. But we know that somebody gave him the crab legs and he just didn't want to, snitch on the person that gave it to him. But they're still continuing to try to hurt this man's career, even to the fact right now they have him on the bench when the Saints are losing every game playing a white quarterback who Jameis Winston, if Jameis Winston already started off this year, Jameis Winston had his first game this year with the Saints. He had a comeback where he threw like 261 yards in the fourth quarter. 2,468. If you would continue that would be like 900 yards in one game. The Saints, if they were to play Jameis Winston right now, they would know that Tom Brady with a losing ass Buccaneers team will not be in the playoffs. But they're going to sit Jameis Winston on the bench so the Saints can struggle and it makes life easier for Tom Brady to get in the playoffs. If the Saints were playing Jameis Winston right now, the Saints wouldn't have a losing record. But they didn't. When they played Jameis Winston, he didn't have Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas or all of them guys. Just like when Jameis Winston was on the Buccaneers, he might have had a bad year. That one year he threw 30 interceptions. Brett Favre has done that before. People still put Brett Favre in the damn Hall of Fame. Brett Favre just got, people talk about him stealing money the other day, recently, and nothing ever happens, but you want to talk about Kyrie and do all this shit and diss Kyrie and take all of his endorsements and shit. But what did they do to Brett Favre? They didn't do nothing. Why? Solely because Brett Favre is white. Now, with Jameis Winston on the Buccaneers, they say, oh, look what Tom Brady did with the same team. But it wasn't the same team. Jameis Winston didn't have Gronk. Jameis Winston didn't have those people that came on defense with Tom Brady. Jameis Winston didn't have Antonio Brown. Tom Brady did. So it wasn't the same team that they played with, All of this is done for white superiority. Tiger Woods getting beat up and all of his legal troubles and all of this was merely to stop him from breaking Jack Nicklaus' record, because they couldn't have a black guy be looked at in the record books as the leader, the best golfer ever, because golf is a white sport. If all of these players from Michael Vick, Jameis Winston, Cam Newton, Deshaun Watson, look at even today, Lamar Jackson and I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson has the same stats, right? Yet Lamar Jackson doesn't get a wide receiver like Stephon Diggs, doesn't get star players to come on his team. They don't pay him. They've already paid Josh Allen. They don't pay him. They don't give him a Von Miller. They don't give him a new stadium coming up. They don't give him Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. They just say, "Oh, go out there and do whatever you want to do." But he doesn't. Lamar Jackson isn't allowed to succeed like Josh Allen is allowed to succeed. Why? They're very similar stats, but why? Because Lamar Jackson is black and Josh Allen is white. It's that simple. It's nothing else but that. If you look into watch sports TV or sports media, all of the people that's making these guys famous or making these guys have historical careers, they're sports writers. The sports writers are what is continuing the racism. And if you look at it all the time, I just was watching it today. Mike Florio, Miami lost to the Chargers last night, so now all of a sudden Tua sucks, and you know Justin Herbert is the man. Yet Tua has a better record than Justin Herbert. But since their team lost, but they won't do that if somebody Tom Brady just lost last night 38-7.
Level at 45.
Shannon Sharpe just dissed Tom Brady because their team lost 38-7. And then that's what happened. Skip Bayless dissed homeboy. But if a black quarterback, if Jameis Winston lost 38-7, it'd be all fair game. Everyone would be dissing him. Nobody would stick up for him. Not one announcer, not one broadcaster, not one sports media person would stick up for him for losing 38-7. And it's not because he's not good. He has thrown for 5,000 yards. He started off his career Hall of Fame projections just by throwing for 5,000 yards. He was the leading touchdown passer and the leading yards passer. He threw for 5,000 yards. Not everybody threw for 5,000 yards. Not many people ever do that. So just to make sure he won't ever be Tom Brady or looked at as the greatest sports player, the greatest quarterback ever, they derailed his career. So now he's sitting out, and while he's sitting out, he doesn't have a chance to continue his projections because he's not playing. Yeah, all the Saints fans are wondering why is Jameis Winston not playing? They say, "Oh, he broke his." Jameis Winston been said, "I'm healthy, I can play," but because he's black, he can't play. Now, when is this gonna end? It's almost 2023. When is the racism shit supposed to end? We've been out of slavery. It's never gonna end, bro. It's never gonna end. They're not covert racism, where it's just all in your face, calling you a nigger and beating you and all of this. It's subvert. It's like hidden, but you don't understand how they communicate. You don't understand what they're doing, and you don't understand, the social influence that they're building around these sports players. It just is what it is. If Michael Vick didn't go to jail for 3 years, he might be looked at as the greatest quarterback ever. If they didn't run Vince Young out the league with mental mind games saying, "Yo, you need to learn how to throw." No, he didn't need to learn how to throw because you couldn't stop him running. The only reason you said he need to learn how to throw is because y'all couldn't stop him running. But nobody can say it. Shannon Sharpe couldn't really say what he wanted to say. Like, "Yo, Tom Brady, they've been cheating for Tom Brady since he got in the league. And he's probably most likely 100% on steroids." He can't say that. Why? Because then they would do what they did to Kyrie Irving to Shannon Sharpe. So he had to get mad, get upset and get played by a little white guy who's athletically inferior to almost everybody on the planet, Skip Bayless. And Skip Bayless thinks he have a leg to stand on because they have propped up this other little white guy, Tom Brady, to be the GOAT, when everybody know he's not. But it's their construct, and we can't do shit about it. But it sucks because it's 2023. Now look at this. It came out last year. Brian Flores said, yo, the NFL be cheating. They be purposely losing games, tanking games to hurt the record of black coaches. Now, we heard what he said. He won his lawsuit. They're still doing it. Look at Lovie Smith. The Texans really wanted Josh McCown to be their quarterback. Josh McCown didn't have any history of ever being a coach. Josh McCown doesn't have any history of ever being an NFL coach. So what do? They put in Lovie Smith to act like, oh, look, we're hiring a black guy. But look, they're what, 1-12 or something? They're tanking so they can fire Lovie Smith and get Josh McCown. And then they're going to hire Jeff Saturday with no other fucking resume. So, Indianapolis hired Jeff Saturday. So now when the Texans do it with Josh McCown, it won't look as bad because the Colts already did it with Jeff Saturday. But who's going to get the short end of the stick? Lovie Smith can't say he ever had a good coaching record because he just took the check and allowed Massa to make him look bad. That's actually how it works. That's actually what's going on. But when you look at it, bruh, it's almost 2023. When is racism ever going to end? When is this shit going to stop? We've been out of slavery. What it's showing you is black people do not have equal opportunities to succeed in this world. Black people do not. We seriously do not have equal opportunity to succeed. And it's shown to us every day. We just don't see it. We have equal opportunity to be a regular dude, go to work, do this, and, pay taxes or whatever. But to be legends, we don't. But it's 2023, bro. When is this shit supposed to end? You got to pay attention to this shit. Racism is the most prevalent in sports media. Racism is the most prevalent in sports media. Whenever they get a chance, every situation they do, they're going to shit on a black guy and elevate a white guy. They only made Tom Brady. They cheated for Tom Brady every single time. Every single year he's in the NFL, they cheated for him to be successful. So one day they can say he is the greatest sports athlete of all time. That's it. So instead of what Hitler was doing, like giving steroids and all this computer shit and all this other stuff to make the Aryan look superior, they didn't have to do that. Well, they did give steroids to Tom Brady, but they continued that method. They just didn't look so overt with it like Hitler did. They did it behind the scenes. They cheated for him behind the scenes. So now they can get the same results that Hitler was getting. Look, we have the most superior athlete, and he's white, and he's blonde, and he's Aryan. That's what's going on. So that's my reaction to the Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless argument. Shannon Sharpe, you can't say this. You know it's true. Everyone watching it knows it's true. Shannon Sharpe, you can't say this. We understand now, bro. We understand what's going on. So you should say it. You should have a backbone. You're gonna lose your deals and blah blah blah. But it's all good. You got enough money so your whole family can be straight. How much more money do you need? If you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for anything. Shannon, be a G, bro. Be a bitch.